Good morning to Dr. Aliza Ali and Dr. MD Rosli Ismail. Welcome to Universitas Terbuka. Welcome Dr. Prakash, good morning and welcome to Universitas Terbuka. Good morning and welcome Dr. Tiru to Universitas Terbuka. Good morning. Good morning, selamat pagi Bapak Yunus. Once again, a very good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Universitas Terbuka Head Office. Please find yourself comfortable as we would start our event today. Ladies and gentlemen, Universitas Terbuka proudly present UT Access Video. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Om Swastiastu, Namo Buddhaya, Salam Kebajikan. Welcome to BUKA Project Meeting hosted by Universitas Terbuka. A very warm welcome to everyone here present at the Auditorium of the Faculty of Science and Technology of Universitas Terbuka, and for those of you who are watching live from UT TV. We are delighted to have you today on the BUKA project entitled Advancing Equity and Access to Higher Education Through Open and Distance Learning. In short, BUKA Research Project covers the development of inclusive instructional design, learning analytics, digital access in the context of open and distance learning, or ODL. The project intends to increase access and equity to higher education in the 6 partner universities in Malaysia, Indonesia, and the Philippines. My name is Trixie, and it is my pleasure to be your host on this very beautiful morning. Before we begin, I would like to greet the Honorable Vice Rector for Research, Innovation, Partnership, and Business of Universitas Terbuka, Bapak Rahmat Budiman M. Hum, PhD, the Honorable Vice Rector for Academics, Dr. Muhammad Yunus SSMA, the Honorable Head of Institute of Research and Community Service of UT, Professor Dewi Artati Padmoputri MA PhD, the Honorable Head of Graduate School of UT, Dr. Paken Pandiangan SSI MSI, the Honorable Head of the Center for Research and Innovation, Professor Daryono SHMA PhD, the Honorable Head of UT Regional Offices and Deans of Universitas Terbuka, as well as our distinguished guests from BUKA team from 8 universities who are present here today, as well as our moderators, participants, and distinguished guests. Ladies and gentlemen, today we have an exciting agenda lined up, filled with insightful sessions. To begin, I would like to invite you to rise for the National Anthem of Indonesia, Indonesia Raya. Please be seated. We would now like to present you Universitas Terbuka Company Profile.
Opening your eyes to the importance of education. For the younger generation, as they have the same rights to continue their education to a higher level. Growing in knowledge, enhancing good character, and to have a brighter future. Universitas Terbuka is established to make the dreams of young men and women from all corners of the country come true through the distance higher education system to meet the ever-changing demands of industrial and technological development in the 21st century.
Dengan diresmikannya Universitas Terbuka.
Universitas Terbuka is a pioneer of world-quality distance higher education, which is supported by professional lecturers who are experienced in their own field of expertise. Universitas Terbuka has also made numerous innovations to solve current educational challenges by applying a digital learning ecosystem to build capable and quality future leaders.
Hampir 4 dasawarsa UT mengabdi untuk bangsa. Universitas Terbuka mewujudkan pendidikan tinggi untuk semua.
With the long experience of carrying out our mission of providing equal access to higher education for everyone in Indonesia, Universitas Terbuka has proven to be a trusted public higher education institution. Our graduates have successfully applied their knowledge into their chosen career fields as either professionals or entrepreneurs. As of 2022, UT has a student body of just over 350,000. As a cyber university who teaches and applies the latest technology, Universitas Terbuka has 4 faculties, including the Faculty of Economics, the Faculty of Law, Social and Political Sciences, the Faculty of Science and Technology, and the Faculty of Education and Teacher Training. As a successful distance higher education institution, UT has received various awards and achievements. For instance, the rector of Universitas Terbuka, Professor Ojat Darajat, was elected by acclamation as the president of Asian Association of Open Universities for the period of 2020 to 2022. Time and time again, UT continues to make important innovations by using the most advanced communication technology and information available in each of its programs. Through the implementation of lifelong learning, UT also provides certificate programs and tuition-free programs such as open educational resources, as well as free lectures to be accessed by everyone. Limitation is not a hindrance for people to continue their education to a higher level, because education is a fundamental human right for everyone that can be accessed easily. This is Universitas Terbuka, always thinking forward, always open to diversity.
Pendidikan tinggi bagi semua anak negeri.
Universitas Terbuka menjangkau yang tidak terjangkau.
Please a round of applause for Universitas Terbuka. Now, ladies and gentlemen, we are honored to have the BUKA team with us today. Therefore, I would like to welcome BUKA team from Tampere University of Applied Science, Finland. Please, can you please stand up and welcome everyone here? Good morning. Round of applause for Tampere University of Applied Science, Finland. Thank you very much. Now we have from Dublin City University. Welcome to Universitas Terbuka. Next we have from Wawasan Open University. Good morning, Dr. Prakash. Very good morning to you. We have delegates from Open University Malaysia. Good morning. Selamat datang. And we have Mindanao State University Iligan Institute of Technology from the Philippines. Welcome to Universitas Terbuka. Thank you. And we have Universitas Negeri Padang. Selamat pagi Bapak. Last but not least, we have Universitas Terbuka. And the BUKA team from University of the Philippines Open University, who are unable to be here in person today. However, welcome if you are watching from our YouTube channel, UT TV. And welcome once again to all delegates from BUKA team project. Now, distinguished ladies, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, to formally start our event today, I would like to invite the coordinator of UT BUKA team to the podium, to Professor Daryono, SH, MA, PhD.
Very good morning to all distinguished BUKA colleagues, BUKA teams who's coming to Universitas Terbuka. From Tampere University of Applied Science, Finlandia, Dublin City University, Wawasan Open University, Open University of Malaysia, and then Mindanao State University, Iligan Institute of Technology, Universitas Negeri Padang, my colleague from Indonesia, and also the University of the Philippines, Open University, who is unable to come and join with us for today. Hopefully, they are attending to the virtual session of the UTTV. The Vice Rector for Research, Innovations, Partnership and Business, Bapak Rahmat Budiman, PhD. The Vice Rector for Academics, Bapak Dr. Muhammad Yunus. The Deans of, let's see who is coming. The Dean of the Economic and Business, Dr. Rani. The Dean of the Faculty of Science and Technology, Dr. Let's see, aduh, I forgot the names. Sorry, this, Dr. Norma, okay. And the Dean of the Faculty of Teacher Training and Education, or Education and Teacher Training, right? Okay, Professor Ucu. And the next is the head of the graduate school, Dr. Paken Pandiangan, Dr. Paken. The next also Dr. Maman is the head of the Serang regional offices, and then Pak Anang is the head of the UT Bogor. And the last, my colleague Pak Enceng from the Bandung. This is the regional office that we install our projects, pilot project in, especially in 4 regional universities, 4 regional offices. And then head of the community services, my colleague, Professor Dewi Patmo. And who else? Hopefully I'm not missing someone else. Okay, back. Special appreciations to my faculty members, the faculty members from the Faculty of Law, Social and Political Science, the Faculty of Science and Technology, Faculty of Economic and Business, Faculty of Teacher Training and Education, and also my colleague from the graduate school, and others who attended virtually from the 5 UT regional office, where the Universitas Terbuka pilot project for the BUKA are located. Warm welcome to the peaceful and the green Universitas Terbuka. Yeah. This is we call as a headquarters. It's not a campus, it's because there is no student here. All of the staff and also academics and supporting staff is located in this place. Our students are commonly come to our regional office rather than in this headquarters. First, I would like to thanks to the BUKA delegates, participants who have been joining with us in the morning on the BUKA sharing sessions, both in person and virtually. Special thanks to also all of the committee, my colleague, the committees that make this occasions happens. BUKA sharing session is intended to disseminate our project outcomes and hoping to have a fruitful discussion during sessions. I believe that I think most of all of you would be in question about what is BUKA. BUKA seems to be Indonesian, it's very familiar with the Indonesian language, BUKA. BUKA is open. But in this BUKA, it's not only open, but the BUKA in our project stands for Better University Knowledge for All. This is quite in line with our mission as well, UT in line, opening up higher educations and opening up knowledge to all of the peoples. The BUKA aims to advance equity and access to the higher education through open and distance learning. This will be further detailed by the principal of the BUKA projects, Dr. Hana Teras. That's not my job. As part of the BUKA meetings, the agenda that lasts from 11 to 14 of June, BUKA sharing session is dedicated not only for the BUKA teams to share the research outcomes, but most importantly, I think, to all of the UT academics. We wish to discuss and explore about the teaching, the potential teaching and research collaborations with all of the university involved. We wish that BUKA sharing session will not end today, but it continues to serve as a collaborative network to share knowledge and experience in advancing ODL, theory and practices. For UT itself, BUKA project focuses on two main deliverables. The first would be developing the inclusive online learning design by adopting the very famous learning design currently. It's ABC learning design that's funded by the UCL. And then the second deliverables will be a cellular network, UT Access, that you already seen in a video. The UT Access has already been installed in 5 different locations, and the UT Access is designed portable that can be relocated in depending on the students and depending on the necessities. So this part of our aims, the flexibility that can be used by our students wherever they are. We are hoping that the UT Access will serve as a means to reduce digital divide for disadvantaged students without reliable internet, as also stated in our BUKA missions, to advance equity and access. Lastly, I would like to thank again to all of the participants, delegates, and the members of the committee, and happy sharing sessions. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Professor Daryono. Now, to give us a heartwarming message, please welcome the Vice Rector for Research, Innovation, Partnership, and Business of Universitas Terbuka, Bapak Rahmat Budiman, M.Hum, PhD.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Om Swastiastu, Namo Buddhaya, salam kebajikan Rahayu, selamat pagi, very good morning, and best wishes to all of us. The distinguished BUKA teams from Tampere University of Applied Science, Finland, Dr. Hanna Teras, selamat pagi, selamat datang. Dr. Mariana Leikoma and Esa Kujansu, MSc. I'm very sorry for mispronounce. And then also distinguished BUKA teams from Dublin City University, Dr. James Brunton. Distinguished BUKA teams from Wawasan Open University, Dr. Prakash V. Amrugan. Terima kasih, selamat datang. Distinguished BUKA team from Wawasan Open University Malaysia, Dr. Tiru, my colleagues, Dr. Alizali. Oh, thank you. And then Dr. Muhammad Rosi Ismail. Terima kasih, selamat datang di Universitas Terbuka. And then the distinguished BUKA teams from Mindanao State University, Elegance Institute of Technology, Philippines, Dr. Amelia Tebuan, Dr. Dante. Thank you. And from Universitas Negeri Padang, Bapak Dr. Andana Putra. Selamat datang Bapak, terima kasih. Bapak Bayu Ramadhani Fajri, MSc. Terima kasih Pak Bayu. BUKA tim from Universitas Terbuka, Profesor Daryono. Dr. Adi Susilo, SPT, PhD, Ibu Dela Raimena Jovanka, SPD, MSI, Bapak Dr. Suhartono, SPD, MPD, and Bapak Diki, PhD. Distinguished colleagues from Universitas Terbuka, Vice Rector for Academics, Bapak Yunus, Deans from Faculty of Economics and Business, Science and Technology, Teacher Training and Education, the Director of Postgraduate Program, our colleagues, Head of Regional Office from Bandung, Bogor, and Banten, and all staffs coming to this opening meeting. First, I would like to pass Universitas Terbuka Rector's apology for being unable to attend these important meetings due to conflicting agenda with the Universitas Terbuka Regional Office convocation ceremony. On behalf of our Rector, I would like to warm welcome the BUKA teams to Universitas Terbuka. We are very honored and pleased to be part of the BUKA project that is stand for better university knowledge for all. This project is in line with Universitas Terbuka mission to open up higher education for all. Universitas Terbuka hosts the BUKA meeting from 11 to 14 June 2023. One of the agenda is BUKA sharing session to provide the opportunity to BUKA's team to share their progress and outcome. This BUKA sharing session is important for all of us to share knowledge and experiences. On this special day, I would like to express my gratitude to everyone who has joined this session, both in person or virtually. On behalf of Universitas Terbuka, I would like also to express my appreciation and thanks to the speakers from BUKA project teams for their willingness to share their knowledge and expertise in this session. Your shared knowledge will benefit to us and the broader community. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, the BUKA project entitles Advancing Equity and Access to Higher Education through Open and Decent Learning. In short, BUKA research project covers the development of inclusive instructional design, learning analytics, digital access, and in the context of open and decent learning. Open and decent learning is the most feasible strategy for attaining this objective since it allows non-traditional and underrepresented students in remote places, mature age, women, disabled, and working students access to higher education. However, access is not only the beginning. Students require specialized assistance to complete their education. To improve equity and student retention, more accessible digital materials and tailored support must be strengthened, as well as pedagogical and technical inclusion. The BUKA project employs and develops inclusive instructional design methodologies and learning analytics tools to address these issues. Each of the 6 partners universities will create pilot interventions that address unique local needs connected to the project focus areas. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, as a university partner, Universitas Terbuka focuses on providing online learning support for Universitas Terbuka students living in remote places without a reliable internet network named UT access. It intends to create a local hotspot in 5 remote areas of Java Islands where Universitas Terbuka students live. The 5 areas are Bogor, Serang, Pemalang, Sukabumi, and Garut. The project also develops more inclusive learning design optimized for limited bandwidth capacity. UT Access, developed by Universitas Terbuka, has built greater user accessibility and usability as well as sustainability. It offers learning management systems and digital learning materials that benefits to Universitas Terbuka students as well as others to access digital learning materials. Universitas Terbuka Access has also provided benefits for general public in accessing various digital learning resources that we have developed. Hopefully, in the future, UTE will have the opportunity to improve services for the broader community through similar programs. Finally, I congratulate you on joining BUKA sharing session. Hopefully, the session will bring us many benefits to the contribution of technology towards sustainable development goals. Before I end my remark, I would like to invite all deans and vice deans to have this opportunity to make contact with our partners from overseas to look for possibilities for partnership. As we mentioned before, that we targeted that every single departments have international partnership. So use this opportunity to chat, to discuss further possible collaboration while having some tea. Thank you very much. Wabillahi taufiq wal hidayah. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Ladies and gentlemen, now to give us with an overview of the BUKA project, we are honored to have with us the principal investigator of BUKA project team. Please join me in giving Dr. Hannah Teras a warm round of applause.
Good morning. Selamat pagi. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much. Terima kasih banyak. It is a great pleasure to be here, and thank you for making the entire BUKA team feel so very welcome on UTE headquarters this morning. Thank you for attending the session in such large numbers. It is a great pleasure to see you. I would also like to, on behalf of the entire BUKA project team, I would like to extend our gratitude to our honorable hosts, the Vice Rector for Research, Innovation, Partnership and Business, Rahmat Budiman, PhD, the Vice Rector for Academic Affairs, Dr. Muhammad Yunus, and Head of the Institute of Research and Community Services, Professor Devi Artati Padmoputri, and Dean of the Faculty of Education and Teacher Training, Professor Dr. Ucu Rahayu, Dean of the Faculty of Economics and Business, Dr. Merani Harsasi, Dean of the Faculty of Science and Technology, Dr. Subekti Nurmawati, and Dean of the Faculty of Law, Social and Political Sciences, Muhammad Husni Arifin, PhD, and Head of the Center for Research and Innovation in Open and Distance Learning, Professor Dariono. Thank you very much, and my apologies for any mispronouncing of the names. I think all of us who are here today share a vision. We share a vision of open, accessible, high-quality higher education, which is accessible for everyone. This is why UTE exists. This is why we have the BUKA project, to advance this goal. We recognize that in today's world, there are many populations, many students who are either in a geographical location or their life situations otherwise make it impossible for them to attend on-campus education. We also recognize that that open and distance learning and online learning technologies are the best solution for spreading and opening access to higher education. If we didn't believe this earlier, now after the pandemic, we certainly do. It has made the question of open and distance learning suddenly very relevant for everyone. Not just the open and distance education leaders, the established providers such as Universitas Terbuka, but for everyone. When we began our project, it was the beginning of 2020. We had our first project meeting in Malaysia, in Penang, in February 2020. And everyone knows what happened just a couple of weeks afterwards. We came together with this idea of this collaboration between universities, especially in the ASEAN region, to work together to find ways to advance equity and access to higher education through open and distance learning. And we knew it was an important topic, but just a few weeks after the beginning of the project, the whole world knew it was an important topic. And all of a sudden, we were in a situation where we were not just running an important project, but we were leading the way. And universities such as UTE are in the most important position in this time in history, because as we have come to notice that the expertise that these universities, ODL providers have, is now in greater demand than ever. So we are the forerunners in this development. In the BUKA project, the universities, two universities from Indonesia, UTE and UNP, from Malaysia, OUM and WOU, and from the Philippines, UPOU and MSU IIT, have come together in a very unique way. In this project, each partner university is developing, designing, implementing, and evaluating local pilot projects that are in perfect alignment with the local need and the local university strategies. All of these pilot projects somehow advance equity and access to higher education. We have already heard from Professor Daryono, we heard about UTE Access and the infrastructure development that has been taking place in this area to provide remote centers for university students to have access to higher education. In some other universities, the focus has been on staff capacity building to increase the pedagogical capacity of the university staff to provide pedagogically high quality, engaging online and hybrid learning. In some other universities, the focus has been on learning resources development, how to use advanced technologies to create more inclusive, more pedagogically innovative, more engaging online and hybrid learning resources for students, so that we are not only talking about access at the beginning of the studies. We are talking about pedagogical accessibility throughout the studies, so that there is students remain engaged, they are learning, and there is retention. We all know these are issues, especially often in distance education. We are finding ways to tackle these issues. And because each university is working on their individual, unique pilot project, we are actually learning more because we are sharing what is done in different universities. So we have, I think, the best or the most important result of the BUKA project is working together, collaborating, learning from each other. And this is what our day today is about. This is a sharing session where we have the opportunity to learn, multiply our learning by learning from what the others are doing. We cannot do this alone. We should not be doing this in isolation. We should join forces and learn and share best practice, because this is the way forward in collaboration for the best of our students in all of the participating universities and beyond, because we also have a wider societal impact. Thank you very much for being here today, and I hope you will enjoy our BUKA project sharing session. Terima kasih.
For Dr. Hana, please kindly remain at the front, Dr. Hana, as we will as we will proceed to our next agenda. So, ladies and gentlemen, Universitas Terbuka has prepared a token of appreciation for the BUKA team. Therefore, I would like to invite a representative from each team to join. We have Dr. Hana at the front. I would like to invite Dr. James from Dublin City University, Dr. Prakash from Wawasan Open University, Dr. Tiru from Open University Malaysia, Dr. Emilia Tibuan from Mindanao State University Iligan Institute of Technology, Dr. Ananda Putra from Universitas Negeri Padang, and last but not least, Professor Daryono from Universitas Terbuka. I would also like to invite Bapak Rahmat, Dr. Yunus, and Professor Dewi Padmo to the front. The token of appreciation will be given by Bapak Rahmat Budiman, accompanied by Dr. Yunus and Professor Dewi Padmo. So first of all, from Tampere University of Applied Science, to Dr. Hana. Please give a round of applause from Tampere University of Applied Science. And Bapak Rahmat to Dublin City University, Dr. Yunus to Dublin City University, a round of applause for Dublin City University, and Professor Dewi to Wawasan Open University. A round of applause for Wawasan Open University. And the Bapak Rahmat Budiman to Open University Malaysia. A round of applause for Open University Malaysia. Dr. Yunus to Mindanao State University Iligan Institute of Technology. Another round of applause for Mindanao State University Iligan Institute of Technology. And Profesor Dewi to Universitas Negeri Padang. A round of applause for Universitas Negeri Padang. And last but not least, Bapak Rahmat to Universitas Terbuka, Profesor Daryono. Now, Bapak dan Ibu, we will have a picture, a group photo together. So if you can gather in the middle. Okay, please give your best smile. One, two, three. Another one, one, two, three. And we would also like to invite all the delegates from the Universities of BUKA team project. If you can join the others at the front, you're welcome. We have delegates from Tampere University of Applied Science, Dublin City University, Wawasan Open University, Open University Malaysia, Mindanao State University, Iligan Institute of Technology, Universitas Negeri Padang, and Universitas Terbuka with us. The regional offices and the head of the Center for Graduate School of Universitas Terbuka. Please join us at the front for a group photo. Return to your seat. So, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you have found your seat. Okay. As we progress further, it is essential for us to learn from the experts of the BUKA project team. In this occasion, we will have two captivating sharing sessions. In the first session, we will be joined by a panel of esteemed representatives from Universitas Terbuka, Dublin City University, and Open University Malaysia. In our second session, we will have another esteemed panel comprising representatives from Universitas Negeri Padang, Wawasan Open University, and Mindanao State University, Iligan Institute of Technology. This sharing session will be led by our moderator. Please welcome Bapak Adi Susilo, SPT M Biotech ST PhD.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone. This first session will be Universitas Terbuka, then Dublin City University, Dr. James, and the third one from Open University of Malaysia. Please come forward and be seated. Yes, number one. Yes, number one. Okay, all panelists, so all of you only have maximum 10 minutes to present the material. So we start first from the Dublin City University. Yes, please.
I'm going to set a timer because I sometimes talk for too long. So thank you so much for having me speak today. I'm James Brunton. I'm an assistant professor from Dublin City University. At the start of this project, as I got to know Universitas Terbuka, because we were both involved in this BUKA project, DCU, my institution, was hosting the ICDE World Conference on Online Learning in 2019, and I remember chairing sessions where staff from UT were presenting, and it was like, oh, these are people from this institution that I'm going to be working with. So what I wanted to talk about today was one of the aspects of the project that we've all been collectively working on, which is inclusive learning design and accessibility and inclusion, and why we thought that was important. It's at the heart of the project. How do we increase equity? How do we increase success for all different types of students in higher education? And part of that is making sure that the learning that our students are doing is set up for them, that it's set up for everybody. So authentic capacity building was at the heart of a lot of the activities that the project team was involved in. And when we say authentic capacity building, it wasn't the sense of, people from DCU or people from TAMC kind of parachuting in to say, oh, here's a way, here's how you do things. It was practitioners of teaching and learning from different institutions helping each other, sharing practice with each other. And when we were identifying, okay, what were the key areas that we want to share training? What do we want to focus on? We identified sort of different areas in learning design. So again, one was ABC learning design, and I was able to say, I have a good colleague in DCU that we can bring in, and they can share their work in ABC learning design. And another was, how do you set up an institution to increase capacity? How do you set up a structure, so that a group of staff can help a bigger group of staff? So I had a colleague, Orna Farrell, who had done that work in DCU. So again, we were able to bring in and share that practice. What I want to talk about for a few minutes is an area that I was sort of helping with, that I was sharing practice on, and that was how to increase accessibility and inclusion in online courses. The ways that we have to continually work on this area, because even those of us with a lot of experience in online learning, we know that it is a constant battle to ensure that the tools we're using and the way that we're teaching is as inclusive and as accessible as possible. there's lots of different factors that can impact on how accessible or inclusive what we do can be. And sometimes when we start to use a new technology, or we decide to try out a different form of assessment, these things can throw up barriers, because all of a sudden someone who uses a screen reader is saying, this doesn't work for me. Or we're trying out a new assessment and someone who is on the autism spectrum says, I find this very challenging. So we have to be constantly thinking about how inclusive what we're doing is, in order that everybody can get a good learning experience. And also, there are aspects of just academic culture. There's aspects of how we think about teaching and learning that sometimes throws up a barrier. How we think we should do things sometimes doesn't align well with some of the universal design for learning principles. So it's something that we have to constantly be thinking about and working on. So as part of the project, we ran a number of sharing sessions, kind of workshops on universal design for learning, and specifically on sharing practice about, actually down in the trenches, working on modules, working on courses. How do we make that more inclusive? So, like, to share an example of that I shared with others in the project group, up to the kind of 2021-2022 academic year, I would have said that me and my team were doing quite well in terms of making our teaching and learning experience very inclusive. And then in that year, in the first few months of that year, all of a sudden we had a number of issues come up. We had a number of students with particular conditions or impairments or disorders say, I am finding this aspect of my learning very challenging. Some of them found that the discussion forums were very overwhelming. There was too much going on in there. I had an assessment that asked students to engage with an online psychology experiment, and some of them found that very challenging because they already had diagnosed mental health disorders and things like that. So we just had a couple of things come up. All of a sudden, we had to take a look at ourselves and what we were doing and say, something isn't working as well as we thought it was. So we kind of went back to the drawing board, and we kind of looked at best practice, and we took a look at what the students were saying to us, and we had to redesign some of the elements of our modules. So over the course of that year, we started to change how we were using the discussion forums, so that we could put key information somewhere quieter in the online course. We tweaked the assignment, and we allowed people different options in the assignment, so that the people who were finding it challenging had a different way to do it. And we drew up better guidelines for our staff, and then we shared those guidelines with our staff, and then we shared them more widely. And we're doing some research on that at the moment, and so maybe next year at international conferences, hopefully I will meet some of you, and you can hear the final research results when we finish that research project. Also, I have a PhD student who's going to be doing work in this area. So if you have PhD students working in this area, let me know so that we can get them together. That was, and me and some colleagues were able to share that case study with other people, so that we can share practice, so that we can share solutions to problems, so that other people can get around those problems straight away or not even encounter those problems. And that was at the heart of the BUKA project, was practitioners sharing practice to achieve the goals of the project. And at the moment, what we are doing, one of the big outputs at the end of the project will be a BUKA handbook. And the handbook is going to detail some of what we focused on. So learning design, setting up the structures within an institution to facilitate capacity building in teaching techniques and learning design techniques, and also inclusive learning design, along with case studies from each of the institutions about their local projects. And that will be something that we will be able to share with everybody, so that people can learn from what we have done. At the moment then, to finish, at the moment the BUKA team is starting to think about what we are going to do beyond the BUKA project. And one of the things we think we're going to look at is now we have to reevaluate all these things. How do we do higher education? How do we do online learning in higher education in the post-pandemic context? The context has now changed. And if we think about the topic or the theme of accessibility and inclusion, it is now more important than ever because even established online learning providers, we know that this is a challenging area. But now we have a global situation where a lot of institutions that maybe didn't have experience or that much experience of online learning or blended learning are now pushing into that space on the back of the experience gained during the pandemic. But do they know the depth? Do they know that they also need to be focused on accessibility and inclusion as they get into this area? You know, will they create online learning courses without fully taking into account all the different pedagogical and technical things they need to do to make it accessible to all different types of students? You know, diverse students need to be catered for. Students with different conditions need to be catered for. And if traditional academic cultural approaches or inaccessible technologies are used, then it is the students with accessibility needs that will get left behind. So it's projects like the BUKA project and maybe the future work that we would hope to do that will keep to the forefront of everyone's minds that this is an important thing to focus on. With 15 seconds to spare, I will finish there. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. The second finalist is Dr. Rigi, please.
Thank you. Good morning, Bapak Rahmat, the Vice Rector, Pak Daryono, all the deans, and all members of the BUKA project. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. I thank you for attending this session, and I'm representing Prof. Daryono to present the UT participation in BUKA project, which is we are developing UT Access. UT Access is like, to put it simply, it is like we are developing local Wi-Fi for local community. We have like local internet provider. I have the presentation, but I think it is there already in that screen. This is called UT Access because it is there already there to support students without reliable internet. Internet may be or mostly there in some areas, but it is not always reliable or electricity is not always reliable, and sometimes the internet, there is no internet at all, where we call it blank spot areas. Next. This is very important because an expert said that all the knowledge is in the connection. If we meet in a face-to-face situation like this, like we have now, Dr. James come from Europe, other colleague come from Philippines, Malaysia, and Finland to come here face-to-face with us. But in other situation, mostly in distance learning situation, the connection is very important. The connection is critical. Therefore, our focus is developing the access for students in some areas. So the UT participation in BUKA project is mostly about how to develop, how to nurture connection, internet connection. Next. Here. This is about UT. I think most of us know what UT is. It is established in 1984 by presidential decree, President Suharto at that time. And there are some students in overseas, Indonesian migrant workers. There are many. I think the biggest population is Pak Rahmat in Malaysia, for example, maybe the biggest population of overseas Indonesian migrant worker is in Malaysia, and there are many in Singapore, Hong Kong, South Korea, Saudi Arabia, Taiwan. I heard from Pak Hasanuddin there are 4 students in North Korea. North Korea, Pak Hasanuddin said. There are many in South Korea, but there are 4 in North Korea. Those are the population. We have regional offices. There are 3 regional offices directors here: Pak Enceng, Pak Nang, and Pak Maman. Next. This is the internet access divide. Most people in city areas, they have better internet access, but in rural area, they don't have reliable internet access. The gap, the divide between those who have internet facilities and those who do not have. In Yogyakarta, this is in Jakarta, the capital city, and Yogyakarta, they have 100% coverage, but in other areas, like in Papua, for example, how to use it? Digital divide also. My digital divide. This is maybe still not working. Okay, but that's okay. Next, I mean, this is the digital divide, and that's why in Papua, it is in the eastern part. I will explain in the next slide that some areas, mostly in eastern part of Indonesia, do not have reliable internet access. But most in big cities, the blue one are better, and the red one and the small red on the east of Indonesia have the less, I think. Next. Here another presentation of the problem. On the west, we have better internet access in Jawa, and Jakarta is in here. In the eastern part, and in the next slide, I will show some problems in this area, this island. Also it looks like it has better internet access, but we are not sure how reliable it is. But our presentation is around here. It doesn't mean that near Jakarta we have absolute better internet access. For example, this is what we do. We develop 2 online student support service, and then this is what the plan develop local hotspot infrastructure. We develop local cellular network for local community. 1 kilometer from the facility. I mean. Next. Here. This is the area where, here the red and the yellow is the dense internet access, but you can see that in some area in Bogor, in Jasinga, for example, you know Jasinga is somewhere around here, close to Jakarta, but the internet access is not reliable. That's why we begin the first project in Jasinga, near Jakarta. That's the paradox. It is close to Jakarta, but this internet access is not reliable. Next. So this is the overview of the internet access. we develop what do you say? A Wi-Fi, a hotspot for local area. We put the material in that in the server, and then so students can use their computer or their mobile phone to access the material that we put in the server. They can access Moodle, for example, the learning management system and material that we put there, and also the open repository and primary school ebook. So the school, because we put the server in a school, in an elementary school, so the teachers, some of the teachers are also UT students. So they can use the material for their activity, for the learning material that they use in that elementary school. Next. This is the design, the learning material, including learning strategy and assessment. Next. The structure, there are several topics. The video is rather big, so it is not always, we cannot always download the video, but other material like text is okay. Next. This is the hardware of the server. Next. Also about the software and the hardware that we use. Next. This is how to put the hardware. Next. We did a usability survey, and students, the user, our student, have mostly positive view about the use of UT Access, and this is one of the most important. UT Access should be sustained, which is almost everyone is happy with this program. But we will do next other survey about the usability. We did the survey before all of the facilities are settled, so there are more students or participants coming to this activity, so we need to do next survey. The areas are in Jasinga, in Bogor, Cigombong, also in Bogor, in Tuel, in Tegal, Central Jawa Province, Barusari in Garut, and in Lebak, one area. And so there are 3 provinces, and those are some pictures. This is the video in Garut. She is looking for the signal, so she complains to other students as well. This area in mountainous area, we come there. She talks to other students that the internet connection is not reliable. But we offer a solution for them.
masyarakat untuk meningkatkan proses pembelajaran supaya lebih pintar, cerdas, dan bermanfaat. Terutama di Desa Badusari, Kecamatan Pasirwangi, Kabupaten Garut yang merupakan wilayah kerja Universitas Terbuka Bandung. BUKA Project bersama LPPM Universitas Terbuka menjangkau yang tidak terjangkau.
Now they are happy because they have. It doesn't. I mean, it is not. It doesn't cover all what they need, but at least they have some internet to take some learning material and to upload the assignment from the tutor, from the UT tutor. Next. What are the future steps that we need, that we will do? We will do some more program evaluation, and we want to support more local community or the school. The facilities is not only for our students, for UT students, but it can benefit also the elementary school. So there is a mutual, mutual aspect. It benefit the school, and the school also help us to put the facilities and expansion of UT access into other provinces, islands, and mountainous areas. There are many other areas in Indonesia, and this is this year is the end of the BUKA project, but we hope that we can build other collaboration with Erasmus or EU, so in the future we can develop this local internet access into other areas in Indonesia. There are many more areas in Indonesia compared to Ireland, probably. Ireland is, for example, in Eastern Indonesia, in the next slide, there are some other. There's a news that there are 645 blank spot in Eastern Nusa Tenggara, in eastern part of 645 hotspot, and 6 villages in East Nusa Tenggara. They don't have internet access, but they will have this year. And in East Nusa Tenggara, there is a community of whale hunter. Do you know movie Moby Dick? There is a real whale hunter in Indonesia.
1 more minute.
Okay. They have the local community leader is UT student in political science. If they have better education, they can have better job and better income, and they're less dependent on this hunting the endangered species. They can have better job, they can find more fish, tuna for example, because of the education. Education is important and internet connection is important. The community leader, the UT student is happy if they have better internet access, but to cover this area, these provinces, these islands, it is hard job for everybody, and so we need support, we need collaboration, as Dr. Hana mentioned. We need collaboration with other participating universities and organizations. So this is the end of my presentation. I hope that we can share knowledge, experiences, and best practice with everybody in this network. Thank you for attending this.
Thank you, Pak Diki. So now we have Dr. Tiru.
Good morning and selamat pagi. I'm Tiru Meni. I'm at the moment the director for the Research Management Center at Research Center for Research and Innovation at Open University Malaysia. I'm also the associate professor at the Faculty of Technology and Applied Science. I wouldn't be here without the team. So together we have the Dean of the Faculty of Education, Dr. Aliza, and also Dr. Rosalie, who is the person in charge of the Master of Education. Now, of course, there are other members, but one of the things, I'm going to jump straight into the program. Now, we have a lot of similarities in what we do. There's module, there's assess the activities, the delivery and the activities. The targets would be different. Like Ute targeted students, we sort of focused on our academic stuff. Now, the main motivation for that is because there's always this struggle, this difference, like somebody from education and somebody who's not from education, but then the main work is education. So, so in that, we took a journey with I would say we took it together with the academic staff because we didn't want it like teaching, but we wanted a sharing session. And so we focused on a couple of things, same thing, module and delivery and the activity. Now, I just want to go through some of the learning curve, and I think none of these things is going to be like, oh yeah, we have done the module and that's the end of it. No, it's never like that. It's a continuous effort towards improving the module or the material, as well as the delivery and the assessment. So we were able to explore a number of things. I'm just going to share what we have learned along our journey. So in terms of the collaboration, this is an excellent, I mean, this is, to be honest, this is my first capacity building project. But we have engaged with Universitas Terbuka and other regional universities, and it's always been a joy because we learn from each other. But here we had a new exposure, or rather revisit of some of the things that we have known. So we're lucky to have, people from TAMK. We were exposed to the authentic learning. I mean, you read, but it's another thing to get it, to learn from your colleagues, and then from DCU we had the ABC model. Somehow or other, so in the module we went through, we wanted everyone to go back to the learning theories, and then we took a look at the pedagogical approaches, and then we looked at learning designs, and then we also explored some of the design elements so that people would be able to look into how they design their own content. And then finally we had an exposure on the learning analytics. When you start, of course, we start with a big vision, and then you go along the way, your focus sort of changes. I think one of the things I like to share is that in terms of the module, and then how do we deliver it, we tried like a focus group session through the flipped classroom model, and we find that you need to have strategies to ensure that people actually read and come to, so along the way you learn a few strategies. And the other thing we also focus is that we wanted to have capacity building, like in terms of skill. So that was a bit of a challenge, especially when COVID and then everything had to be online. It's fine with the teaching courses, but the skill base was a little challenging, and we explored that part of it. I guess it's a joy to learn, and I think what I wanted to emphasize is that, give me a second, I have to see my own handwriting. So in terms of, we wanted everyone to benefit, so the participants, after going through the courses, I wouldn't say going through the courses, after going through the sharing sessions, then they developed open educational resources. Up to then, most of our, we do develop open education resources, or OER, but it was more about using certain types of, like, for example, we were focused on Flipbook and H5P, but we wanted the academic to have freedom to explore different tools, that's why we focus on the design. So they developed their own OER, they criticized their own OER, then they embedded that in their own e-tutorials, and then see how students react to it. It's always a challenge to get academic staff to come for training. I would say that's one of our biggest challenge. And we also explored like assessment in terms of using portfolio-based assessment. for assessment as learning. And we focused on one of the main things we wanted to drive within the community of the academics at OUM is the concept of inclusivity. That's why we focused on universal design principles and also sharing of your resources. So we kind of emphasize on the creative use of Creative Commons licensing, and I think at the end of it, like we started with the idea of data-driven learning design. Somehow, along the way, there's a lot of interest in the design-based thinking among the academics. We will explore that further, so this is not the end. And I think I started off having this idea of data-driven learning design. But thanks to the experience that I have with all my fellow researchers, I think now I have to call it data-assisted learning design and not data-driven. And so I think that's where we are. So in terms of the benefits, yeah, did I? Right, I thought I'm hearing myself. So it's okay, that's all right. It's okay, no problem. Yeah, so I think that's what our experience is at the moment. And we are, there's a number of things we have to continue to pursue in terms of the improving. We have actually tested all our activities using a set of tools for quality assurance, as well as to ensure that what we are doing is actually effective and meaningful. So based on the feedback that we've received so far, we have to take several actions. Some of it includes we sent out our modules to an expert review in terms of how to improve the instructional design. And then we also looking into how to convert the classroom into the workshop and online courses, which we will pursue. The work is still ongoing in this essence. We're also looking into how we can work more on the online assessment in terms of coming up with a new model to evaluate. And we have all the modules that has been produced has been uploaded and placed in a learning and new learning space, which sort of allows us to explore, read, watch, and listen type of presentations. So we are still exploring the learning space. And so we haven't forgotten the learning analytics. We are still coming up with a framework and how to capture the data and how to use the data to then continuously improve what we have developed in terms of content, in terms of the learning space, and the best use of technology. And we also want to pursue the interest to share OER through the galleries. To wrap it up, I think there are many lessons and challenges that you explore, but one that I like to highlight is that I think the experience, we must thank the whole team because there's an openness in terms of the project itself. Because I think there are many different types of capacity building in Erasmus+, but this particular project, there's an openness that allowed us to explore our own journey by looking at the similarities and differences. And I think it gives us a better understanding on the strength of our local partners. I think before that, it's sort of like didn't, I think, but then here, I guess we have people like Mom Patricia, I think she's like, so we are very glad for that experience, and it also helps us to enhance local collaboration by sharing our resources. Thank you. Did I?
Okay. Yes, thank you. I give only one question from the audience. Or two. Okay, one Pak Nang and one. Okay, please.
Check. Okay, thank you for the time. I would like to first thank you for the time. My name is Hardi Ardianto. I'm one of the lecturers from the English department. I would like to ask Dr. James. As we know that regarding the inclusive pedagogy, of course we have to talk also about the not only the regular students, we are also talk about the students with physical disabilities. I would like to ask you whether or not you have a prior knowledge or past experience with your team regarding the what kind of pedagogical considerations for those students in joining the learning activities, especially in online learning activities. Thank you.
Yeah, the case study that I was talking about was really getting at that area. You know, I think in my institution, I really have to think about what I and my team members can do at an individual level and at a team level, but then that interacts with the institutional structures. You know, if a student is to be recognized as having a disability in the institution, they need to register with the service in the institution, but not everybody does. And that's why we have to use universal design for learning principles, because we don't know who has what condition. So it's about trying to ensure that all staff have a baseline, you know, a minimum amount of understanding and expertise in how to teach in an accessible manner. In terms of very basic things like you are using Zoom or a similar product, what settings do you have to have turned on or turned off to make sure that somebody who has a hearing impairment can see the closed captions? Now again, that's completely that example comes to mind because Zoom came along and integrated Otter AI so that we could have automatic closed captions. Before that, it was financially not possible to have closed captions on all our synchronous meetings. So, you know, technology can be a barrier, but technology can also completely facilitate that learning. So, the kind of on a practical level, what we do as a team is every year we will get a list from the Disability and Learning Support Service as to which students have what kind of condition or impairment or disorder, and we communicate that then to the teaching teams saying, these are the students, this is the kinds of conditions that they have, and here is the link to the information about what you should be thinking about. If a student has a particular condition where we know in advance they're going to find a particular assessment difficult or something like that, we will try to proactively communicate with that student to say, how are we going to do this? You know, and one example is I would have some students with chronic conditions where their energy, their ability to engage might go up and down during the academic year. And we know if we are asking students to get involved in a very intense online discussion over 2 weeks or 3 weeks, if their condition is making their energy dip and their ability to engage dip during that time period, they may not be able to do that assessment. So if they know that in advance or as it's happening, you know, they're saying, actually, you know, this is what's happening, I don't have the energy to engage as much as I need to, then we can change the assessment for that student. You know, so we have our universal design for learning, our kind of social model, try to make it equal for everybody, make it equitable for everybody. But if a student has a particular condition, then we can have an individual accommodation for them as a backup, you know, and we can switch that. And that's the same backup if a student said, my boss just decided to send me to another country for the 3 weeks and I won't have internet access. Okay, we can give that student, if they have documentation to prove that, even though that's nothing to do with accessibility, it's like we have an alternative for that assessment that we can give the student. So it's about having a proactive plan, and then just trying to make sure that students are communicating and making sure that in those instances we can give the student what they need, either by making the module as inclusive as possible from the start, or giving them an individual intervention when they need it.
Thank you. I want to say to Pak Diki, basically I can deliver my statement in the Sundanese language to Pak Diki, but I worry Mr. Diki setting his ears in English now. So I try to say in English. I have to point. First, I'd like to say thank you to BUKA teams who chose Bokor as one of the project. It's very meaningful for us and our students, but it's not enough, Pak. So second, I hope BUKA teams will open access not only for our students, but also for senior high school and public society in that areas, so they can know UT Bogor better and they can join us as new students. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you, Pak Nang, for this. This is also an honor for us to collaborate. And yeah, of course, we are the same at UT, but I mean, this opportunity for us to begin the project in Bogor area is very meaningful for us, and we thank to the participation of people at UT Bogor, so we can, and I hope that the collaboration will improve in the future.
Hi, Dr. Thiru. I was asking about developing new model is costly and takes time. What about adapting already available learning resource? What are the concerns? Thank you.
Yes, truly it takes time, but I think teamwork is important. And I wouldn't say we started with ideal solutions. We did struggle, and then there was COVID, but I think I'm most thankful for the current team that we have at Open University Malaysia. It really helped, and the support of the participants, because I think if you approach a student, they would have to participate. But when you approach academic staff, the workload challenge is real, and especially what happened after, or during and after post-pandemic, is that the workload for many academics is just increased. Although we are like Open University, just like Universitas Terbuka, we are familiar with the online and we already have the solutions. But we went into this full gear because now we have the challenge of everybody jumping into the online team, distance education. So we now have to say, oh, so what is so different about us? What do we excel in, And that challenge is becoming even greater in Malaysia at the moment because of the current scenario that we are facing. Yeah, but yeah, I think teamwork and collaboration. We found a lot of solutions through collaborative efforts, and of course, continue to read.
Okay, thank you. Before we move to the next session, we have an important announcement, so I give to the Master of Ceremony.
Thank you very much, Bapak Adi, and thank you very much to all the panelists from the session 1. Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to announce that at the end of this event, after the second sharing session, we will have a networking session. So please stay tuned and look forward to our discussion at networking session. Before we continue to the next session, I would like to invite everyone for a coffee break for around 15 minutes. The snacks and the tea and coffee are available outside this room. Once again, we will have a networking session at the end of this event after the second sharing session, so please stay tuned until the end. You are welcome for a tea and coffee break for 15 minutes. We will be back in this room after 15 minutes. Thank you very much.
Welcome to Universitas Terbuka. Universitas Terbuka, or UTE, is the 45th State University of Indonesia, launched on September 4, 1984. The head office is located at Pondok Cabe, South Tangerang, and is spread over 16 hectares. As the central university campus, Universitas Terbuka emphasizes the importance of professional concept and advanced technology, while at the same time preserving green spaces and a natural environment. As a pioneer and innovator of distance higher education, Universitas Terbuka has 39 regional offices throughout Indonesia, and one dedicated for students living overseas. The adoption of a flexible learning system allows UTE students to learn wherever they are and whenever it suits them. UTE provides learning opportunities for all individuals to higher education. Universitas Terbuka provides high-speed broadband and dedicated workstations for its staff in order to serve its students in Indonesia and across the globe. UTE's head office is composed of several main units. These are the Information Communication Technology Unit. This is responsible for information and communication technology management, which involves network management systems and application development information, as well as communication technology. The Multimedia Development Center is responsible for content development for teaching through creating imagery, animation, audio, video production, and more. The Learning Material Distribution Center is responsible for managing all the daily activities of a centralized distribution center and warehouse. The library is responsible for the development, selection and maintenance of the learning material collection and the ordering, processing and cataloging of all library materials. The Examination Center is responsible for the organization and administration of examinations. The Rectorate building contains the offices of the Rector and Vice-Rectors. The Bureau of Finance, General Affairs and Partnership is responsible for carrying out financial affairs and the university's planning, administration and management. The Bureau of Student Administration and Planning takes care of academic and administrative services, including a contact center that serves the needs of students. The core teaching and learning functions of the university are conducted through 4 faculties. These faculties offer diploma, bachelor, master and doctoral programs. These faculties are the Faculty of Economics, the Faculty of Law, Social and Political Sciences, the Faculty of Science and Technology, and the Faculty of Education and Teacher Training. At present, Universitas Terbuka has a student body of just over 350,000 from every corner of Indonesia and more than 50 other countries. Universitas Terbuka, making higher education open to all. Welcome to Universitas Terbuka. Universitas Terbuka, or UTE, is the 45th State University of Indonesia, launched on September 4, 1984. The head office is located at Pondok Cabe, South Tangerang, and is spread over 16 hectares. As the central university campus, Universitas Terbuka emphasizes the importance of professional concept and advanced technology, while at the same time preserving green spaces and a natural environment. As a pioneer and innovator of distance higher education, Universitas Terbuka has 39 regional offices throughout Indonesia and one dedicated for students living overseas. The adoption of a flexible learning system allows UT students to learn wherever they are and whenever it suits them. UT provides learning opportunities for all individuals to higher education. Universitas Terbuka provides high-speed broadband and dedicated workstations for its staff in order to serve its students in Indonesia and across the globe. UT's head office is composed of several main units. These are the Information Communication Technology Unit. This is responsible for information and communication technology management, which involves network management systems and application development information, as well as communication technology. The Multimedia Development Center is responsible for content development for teaching through creating imagery, animation, audio, video production, and more. The Learning Material Distribution Center is responsible for managing all the daily activities of a centralized distribution center and warehouse. The library is responsible for the development, selection and maintenance of the learning material collection and the ordering, processing and cataloging of all library materials. The Examination Center is responsible for the organization and administration of examinations. The Rectorate building contains the offices of the Rector and Vice-Rectors. The Bureau of Finance, General Affairs and Partnership is responsible for carrying out financial affairs and the University's planning, administration and management. The Bureau of Student Administration and Planning takes care of academic and administrative services, including a contact centre that serves the needs of students. The core teaching and learning functions of the university are conducted through 4 faculties. These faculties offer diploma, bachelor, master and doctoral programs. These faculties are the Faculty of Economics, the Faculty of Law, Social and Political Sciences, the Faculty of Science and Technology, and the Faculty of Education and Teacher Training. At present, Universitas Terbuka has a student body of just over 350,000 from every corner of Indonesia and more than 50 other countries. Universitas Terbuka, making higher education open to all
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you had a good break. Now, we are going to proceed to our second sharing session. But before that, I would like to kindly remind you again that at the end of this event, we will have a networking session where you have the platform to discuss further with our BUKA team from the universities. Okay, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to Universitas Terbuka for BUKA project sharing session. Now, we have reached to the second sharing session, which will be joined by esteemed panel comprising representatives from Universitas Negeri Padang, Wawasan Open University, and Mindanao State University, Iligan Institute of Technology. This time as well, it will be moderated by Bapak Adi Susilo, SPT and Biotech, ST PhD. To Bapak Adi.
Thank you, Trixie. Please have a seat. So, we give a first opportunities to the first presenter, Pak Ananda from Universitas Negeri Padang.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good afternoon, everybody. So, thank you very much for today. We're having a great meeting and a great sharing session. I'm sorry because English is not my second language here. So English is my foreign language here. So maybe my English not so, maybe everybody can understand what. Know what? Never mind, right? So everything is okay. So let's talk. Important point, you understand what I'm talking about. Yeah. So in the BUKA project, UNP now having our own project. I'm sorry, I don't want to sit in here because normally teaching face-to-face, right, with the student, we are standing and something a little better. So I like to stand here. Anyway, for our project, we in Padang, UNP, we have to develop our staff because for their advancing equity and access to higher education through open and distance learning is very important for us. And since UNP is a traditional, or not traditional, conventional, right? Conventional university, not an fully open university like UT. So UT is already long time, and the only state university in Indonesia for open university, and private university there is another one for Venus University. So for us, we would like to come to open university. How do people make a student reach all to study with the open and distance learning, something like that. So that's why our focus for pilot project is to develop a digital learning material and training in inclusive learning for teacher, and our staff. So for this one, we focus on how to create a digital learning, and then important point is to train our staff. So at the beginning, before this is lucky. But I can say in Indonesia, our project is really lucky, right? Tahun 2020 we got musibah. I don't know in musibah, right? Direct pandemic, musibah. Everybody cannot go anywhere. Student, teacher must stay at home, right? And then directly, this musibah is lucky for us, for our project. Thank you for Anna for coordinating for us here. What is it? We have an open and distant learning study this one directly. Musibah membawa berkah. Gitu ya. Musibah membawa berkah for us. Right. So this is really nice for us. So starting from that, for us in UNP, we have started the open in distance learning since 2012. But not all the lecturers interested in it because people like to do face-to-face. Because teaching, if not in front of a student, not the teaching. Because you cannot control students. Are they watching us? Or if not, they are using sleeping or just taking shower and watching us, listening to everything. And then sometimes they have problems. Like, our Wi-Fi, we cannot do anything with the Wi-Fi because low connection. So we have to turn off the camera. And then what OT did for rural area, this is really nice for the people. There is no anything else for the student. You have to turn on your camera even study. But now for this one, last time for our students, for example, for doing Zooms and teaching is very important. What is closing the camera? But now this is an open and distance learning is very important. So starting from 12, we have started, and now, and exactly what our rules say that 2018 in UNP, all the staff must have or to have to do the learning. You put it all your material in learning management system, Moodle. We have Moodle there. So starting from there. And luckily, after 2020, we have got the project, and all the students, all the teachers, and also admin and our university have to do that. So that's why it really shows it's very important for us to do and join with this BUKA. So from that on, so we train all of our teachers, all our lecturers for this learning. So on coming up. And then also for digital learning material content, we developed that one for this one. And then for this project, we developed 10 learning materials, at least for an example. So we did it already for explaining and teaching and how to example people. And also a learning instructional design, not for the learning analytics yet, for the learning instruction. We have done that. And then what we can do for this one, for learning also, we have already, since 2023, we have developed to make a new research center in Padang. We call it Open and Distance Learning Research Center based on BUKA project. So from now we already do some like a research collaboration for doing the research for open and distance learning. And then from this one also, we have the mottos for this. What? UT already done for this open and distance learning from long time ago for us for now. But what? We do the competition, right? All the university we need to do competition. Competition for all the university, yes. Competition, right? UT, UNP, MSU, or everything, DSU, DCU, or TAMS. We do MSU competition. We do competition here. But competition, yes. Collaboration, more than yes. So we need more collaboration here. So all of them, MSU, UT, UNP, MSU, and all of, we need more collaboration. So everybody here, we can make a collaboration. This is a good chance for us to collaborate, to improve the capability for our universities, right, and also for staff and our students also. For this one. That's why for the UNP now doing for that one. And then for the digital learning material, we have visited yesterday, we do the teaching factory, TA. So last time we have now some digital learning material, we develop it here. And so especially for virtual learning, reality and augmented reality, especially for the natural science student. As we know that natural science students, they need practicum, doing practicum, for example, chemistry, physical, biology, so need practicum. So they only, for example, UNP, they have several locations, also of UT here, so many locations around Indonesia, all the provinces, we have open university. So we need something that the student cannot go to the main places where they have the laboratory, but they can also doing the practicum outside. So we develop the virtual reality for practicum. For example, we do the physical chemistry with the Pak Bayu as in charge for this, or for the virtual reality and augmented reality, or for chemistry and physics and biology student. Maybe in UT already done for this, so we are new for this one. That's why for the UT. So this is for the BUKA project. So in UNP, they focus on developing the teachers, students, and then digital learning. Besides that one, of course, not only inside campus, but also for the community services. Elementary school student, elementary school, elementary, junior high school, and senior high school teacher and student. We also help them how to do the open and distance learning during from 2020 to 20 now, up to now. So several senior high school, we visited it and we teach how to do to make a website, to make everything related to distance learning, how to, related for all of them, for teaching. Because there is really advantage for them to doing that, because they cannot do anything for doing the open and distance learning before. Then after we teach them, they are really get to know, and then easily for them to teach the student. And then for the student also, we teach them how to make a website, developing website, and then doing for something like entrepreneur also. And then during the time to study, so we have the motivated student and also teaching here. There are 8 competency that have to reach for them. So if you know where they can study, for example, like first you need to improving your logical thinking. And then the second one, increasing your analyzing. And then you have to do it by yourself, working by yourself. Not cheating and not everything, for example, work by yourself. And then also you work with teamwork. Without teamwork, you cannot do anything, right? So teamwork. And you have to present something. You have to be able to present something to people, like talking in front of people. And then we have to be able to writing something. And then, of course, from that one, you have to know the material itself, learn the material. And then, of course, now because the new technology, at least you have to get the IT, is an internet technology. So Microsoft Office, Excel, Microsoft Word, and then, what is this? PPT. And then the most important point is languages, English at least. So you have to be able to speak in English. So that one for besides for the BUKA project, we also encourage students and teachers doing that one for easy for them to communicate and to learn.
One
more
minute. One more minute.
Okay. So one, open and access, open and distance learning for the student and teachers and UMP now is going up, and everybody happy for this one, and we hopefully for next in the future we still continue our project here with the more and more detail for this one. Thank you. That's for story the BUKA project, what we did in the pilot in UNP. Thank you.
Thank you, Pak Nanda. Okay, the next presenter is Dr. Prakas.
Okay, good morning, everyone. Pak Ananda looks like he's ready to stand for election next year. Okay, from WOU, I'm just going to share some of the things that we did and how we went about doing it. The objectives of our project fit into the objectives of the BUKA project as a whole, right? So we have three main objectives, and then we've decided that within the three main objectives, we created sub-objectives to fit different exercises that we wanted to do. So one of the first things that we did it in stages. So one of the first things that we did is we did a needs analysis. We asked our academics what they wanted, okay? And of course, they gave us a few things like capacity building is something they needed. They wanted to know how e-learning content can be created. They wanted to know how different assessment design can be done. So we did a survey and we found out what they needed, and we decided to tweak the project or mold the project into what would fit for them, the academics, the lecturers, the instructors. But then again, the most important stakeholder of a university are the students. So we cannot just ask academics what they wanted, we also needed to find out what students needed. So since we were trying to move away from very traditional content to a more multi-modal or multimedia kind of content, we wanted to find out from our students what they thought of a more multi-modal environment. So we got a very positive feedback from them, but we also found out that our students, WOU students, are predominantly working adults, so they work, and they don't have much time, and yet, on average, they can fit in about 2.5 hours of video watching per day, on average, based on the feedback that we got. So these are students who do not have time to do assignments, do not have time to read, but have time to watch videos. So for us, it was converting content into more of a presentable nature that they would enjoy and they would like, right? So that's what we started out to do, okay? So we had 5 areas that we wanted to look into. Number 1 is capacity building. Number 2, we wanted to change the course design, or the course structure. Number 3, we wanted to create content, a little bit more multimedia in that sense. Number 4, we wanted to experiment with multimodality, not just in content creation, but also in assessment. Okay? Number 5 is online facilitation. Now, our main objective was to improve the capacity of our instructors on online facilitation. That we managed to do. Okay? But to promote online engagement among students, that we couldn't really do for one reason or another. Okay? So, when it came to the capacity building exercise, in the institution, we already have our own capacity building activities. Okay, we look at content creation as a whole. We look at the use of e-learning platforms for teaching purposes, for lecturing purposes. We also do course authoring. How to use in a learning management system and do course authoring or create a course based on the learning management system itself. I'm looking at the time, just in case. Okay, we did all that, and on top of that, we also embedded a few more capacity building exercises, including how to create authentic assessment, because we thought that would be very beneficial for adult learners especially. We moved away from Moodle-based LMS to D2L, Brightspace D2L LMS. It's a subscription-based LMS. Because we moved away to a new LMS, we had also had to add capacity building on how to use this new LMS, because a lot of us were familiar with Moodle. Okay, so we had to unlearn and relearn a new learning management system. Okay, we also did trainings on how to support and engage students in online forum discussions using the motivational design process model. So we used a slightly different model than the model that was shared earlier by, who was that who shared? Yute, okay, by Yute, okay, thank you. Sorry. Now, when it comes to content creation, I think just like UT and all the other institutions, we started off using a text-based content creation. Okay, we started with courses that we printed and made available to students. I'm not sure whether UT still does the same thing, but we printed our course materials and we will send to regional centers. And students will come and collect these materials in the regional centers. That's what we did in 2006, 2007, when we first started the university. From then until now, we have slowly moved away from text-based to soft copy, online-based. And in 2019, we experimented with a flipbook approach, okay, to content creation. We took all the courses that we have, which in the soft copy, and we converted into a flipbook format. Multimedia, videos, audios, and all the jing bangs that needed to create a content we did. For the School of Business and Administration, which is what I represent, started this project. We converted 73 courses within 3 years. Okay, we had to convert them from two-dimensional text into, well, I won't call it three-dimensional, but at least it's multimedia in 3 years. 73 courses, average 24 courses a year, average 2 courses a month. Okay, so the School of Business, where I'm the dean, we had no choice but to do this to prove to the university it can be done. And it was a lot of hard work. And the last course we just completed beginning of this year. We just managed to convert beginning of this year. So it's a lot of hard work for us, but we managed to do. So that got the ball rolling for the rest of the institution. We had some challenges. I think some of those challenges are very similar to the ones that has been shared across the table, so I will not go into that. The other thing that I wanted to share is the videos that we created. We created typical videos. I actually had a slide prepared, but somehow or other I didn't have a chance to present them. But we had typical videos created. Now, typical videos means like this. You see my face, you see content, and then explain, okay? And you see all these images around. Okay, typical video, right? Now, we did a very simple survey on the students on how they find that video, okay? And the survey they did, we focused on one very specific area. We wanted them to tell us whether there's any part of that video, sorry, I need to stand, whether there's any part of that video that is distracting. Okay, so we gave a few areas like the speaker, color, image, text, and stuff like that. And the most distracting component of the video was the speaker, the person. Okay, because they end up looking at, like me, for example, they end up looking at me rather than looking at what I am pointing at, rather than the text. So the next round of video production, what we did is we removed the person and focused entirely on the content and imagery. Okay? And that actually improved the reception of the students. That's what we did. You need to come and attend the conference in October if you want to see that video. Okay, and the other thing that we did is, we did multimodality in assessment feedback. Basically, it means that we converted text-based feedback into audio-based feedback. Now, this multimodality is very important. Why? Because there is a myth that learners have very specific learning styles. And I don't think that is true. Okay? There are certain things, there are certain people who are visual learners, there are certain people who are oral learners, there are those who need to read, only then they can remember, and those who need to do. I always believe that learners are multi-style learners. You have to include more than one different modality, or one different styles to be able to reach what the students needed. I mean, I use myself as an example. I mean, during my younger years, we used to buy cassette tape, and we listened to the music. I'm not sure why. I can listen to a song 100 times. I still cannot remember the lyrics. Except when I open the lyrics, read the lyrics together with the song. After a couple of rounds, I can remember. Okay? I just recall something just now when I was sitting there. This old Indonesian song, okay? Cinta Anak Kampung by Jamal Mirdad. Very old Indonesian song. I've heard this song literally hundreds of times, and until now, I still cannot remember the full song. I can only remember nyamo, nyamo, nakal. From there. I can only remember that portion. I cannot remember the whole song from the beginning because I've never seen the lyrics before. Okay? So anyway, so what we decided is we wanted to ensure that you attack different styles, merge them together to be able to fit a student's need. Basically, that's all from me. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Prakas. Okay. So this is the Dr. Amel.
I will show my presentation. I will going to use a presentation so that I will not distract you based on the sharing of Prakash. Okay, so we have here our project is capacity building, supporting teachers in innovative, flexible learning through a framework we call it as BUKA Rich Peer Mentoring Program. Oh, I'm not sure if it's moving. Okay, so we are from Mindanao, the southern part of the Philippines, a very small city in Mindanao. Next, please. And then we have done a survey for our students, and we have noticed that for the total population, 29% only replied to that online survey. So we assume that they don't have access. And for that 29%, 73.64% have smartphones, and then 43.41% have laptops, or they may have both, and then 13.95% have desktop PCs, and there's still 30.32% who have basic cellular phone using the text. So this challenged us on how to design activities so that these students this different access to technology would be relevant to them. And in terms of internet access, we have 28% who have access to Wi-Fi, and we have 51.16% use only mobile data. And there's 20.72% which we call it as piso Wi-Fi, where you have to put some coin and then you have an internet for 10 minutes. Okay? So what we did in our university, next slide please, is we want to improve access to quality e-learning courses and promote innovative, flexible learning and teaching. We call it as Inflex. Next please. So this is our framework, the innovative, flexible learning modality, where we consider at the center would be the learner success as its core, done through the context of collaboration among students and stakeholders. Remember, they have different access of technology and also Wi-Fi. So they really need to collaborate so that you will deliver a very clear, relevant lesson, engaging activity. It must be achievable considering our students. It must be connected, the learners and the teachers should be connected, and it should be holistic. Next slide, please. So this framework, teachers are encouraged to collaborate with peers where they have to plan a lesson, explore on a pedagogy, implement it in the classroom, reflect what happened, and then revise and implement it again. Next slide, please. So the teachers should tailor fit the face-to-face classroom, or we may have during the pandemic is synchronous, and also the asynchronous learning activities, considering the student varied access technology and other relevant resources. So this is the framework that we have used, and we have this different activities from 2020 to 2023. In 2023, we are now, I really listened to Prakash and Pa Ananda on the sharing on the development of learning materials. So 2023, we are thinking about on the development of learning materials. Either video or interactive thing, because we already developed learning materials. Next slide, please. So this is the team, and this team are the mentors. Those who are wearing the BUKA shirt, they are the mentors. So we also have BUKA Talk. The one that we have implemented will have a sharing, and we call it as BUKA Talk. And we have a series of webinar. We try to capacitate the mentors, where we develop faculty peer facilitator on this modality. And we also discuss about, we invited visiting professors. That's why you see the picture of Hannah and James. We invited them as our visiting professor, and it's online because we cannot afford to pay the fare to Mindanao. So gladly they accept our invitation, and we have those discussions. Next slide, please. So we also certify our mentors. We call it as the NFLEX Faculty Mentoring Program. If you have mentored a faculty, then you'll be certified as mentor. Next slide, please. So with that, since 2020, we have low usage of our MSU IT online learning environment, and it goes up during 2020 up to 2021, and we are trying to maintain on their engagement on using of our Molly classroom. Next slide, please. So, there are lessons which have been implemented, the NFLEX modality. This research is already published yesterday, promoting collaboration in NFLEX modality, a case of a mathematics teacher, an action research of a mathematics teacher. So as you could see there, so the inclusivity is, first we need to know our learners. And we have to group learners according to abilities, not only abilities, but access to technology. And then we will assign role. For those who have access only to text, then they will be distributed. So guide learners and decision making, the monitoring progress, and as well as the peer evaluation. So using that model of this teacher, he had developed the modular collaborative projects for the students. So they learn as a friends as well as a mentors, where they collaborate on learning the material. Next slide, please. Another study that we have is we try to look at the student and student interaction in an NFLEX environment, where we try to look at on what are the common themes when we post a forum. So we found out that these are the common theme where some students will approve other students' ideas or options on their reply. They improve other students' ideas. So when someone put an ideas and then their reply improve the idea of the first response, and then making suggestion on guiding other students' answer. That's the teacher or as well as the leader of that group, and commenting personal preferences on other students' entries. Another one, next slide please. We also take note on the satisfaction and dissatisfaction of the students. So we found out that if you really planned well your forum and discussion, they will be engaged. And then the group activities is also engaging, where they have to help each other to understand the material. Small group consultation with the teacher really help. And then the materials reading provided, actually the overall reading, overall classroom experience also motivate them, satisfy them on that lesson. But the dissatisfaction, although we want to address, as to what I have presented a while ago, that we really have a problem to access of resources, but still, it's still a problem. So therefore, we still need to work more on that. And simultaneous tasks with other subjects, where maybe if the one shared by Tampere, maybe we could look at on how its subject could be organized in such a way that will be very clear on our outcome, and how do we promote less workload to student, but deep understanding of the content. And then the instruction, and as well as the subject context. So I guess this is my sharing for today. I would say that with that two research that we have, dedicated teachers who really planned well on their lesson, really prioritize learner success to foster equity and ensure equal access to educational opportunities for all students. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Amel. Happy Independence Day for the Philippines today, June the 12th. Okay, 3 questions. Okay, 1.
Okay, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Astri. I'm from UT, and I would like to ask a question for Dr. Prakas. So, Dr. Prakas, you mentioned about some program in LMS, etc. But right now, pandemic is over, right? And we have more opportunity to do like a face-to-face learning. And do you think it has any change have taken place in terms of pedagogy approach when right now we don't have any, we have more opportunity to meet face-to-face to our student and etc. Okay, thank you.
Thank you for the question. Okay, first thing first. Now, in the pre-pandemic era, WOU had face-to-face classes, because our approach is a very blended approach. So we do have face-to-face, physical face-to-face sessions, right? Now, one of the problems that we face during that era was attendance of students are always very, very bad. Okay? Now, as an open university, as an ODL university, and we are also not just a private university, we are a not-for-profit university, we do not make attendance compulsory. Okay, so it's entirely up to the students whether they come for classes or not. So most students, okay, I wouldn't say most, but quite a number of students don't attend classes. But when we moved online, actually we went online seamlessly because the platform was ready. So moving online was not a problem. I think it was not even a problem for the other open university in Malaysia as well, because the platforms are all ready and available. So moving online had one advantage that we saw. Our attendance rate went up. Okay, our attendance rate went up because we had regional centers in places where parking is an issue. Okay, and students actually have to pay for parking. So we used to deal with a lot of complaints from students, and we used to give them subsidy, parking subsidy. Okay? But parking subsidy means there goes my bonus. There goes my increment, because it's a cost to the university, right? So when we moved online, all this problem just disappeared. So we did a very quick survey with the students to find out, would you prefer if we go back to physical classes? And it was a resounding no for majority of the students. So because of that, we've decided to maintain the online delivery of the courses. But every term of every semester, we do have a physical networking session with the students at the regional centers. So we invite students to come for tea, okay, and we have chatting sessions with them to find out what's happening with them, where they are, because whether you like it or not, that human touch is essential. The physical meet is essential, okay, for students to feel that they're not lonely, okay, because everybody says that ODL is a lonely journey, okay, and I'm always very proud to tell people I was an ODL student, and it was indeed a lonely journey for me because I did my degrees more than a quarter century ago when there was no Mr. Google to help me. Okay, so I had no choice. It was very lonely, and I used to travel 100 kilometers for my home to the university where the nearest regional center. I mean, this is true story. True story. Okay, I went through that. I am an excellent case study. Okay, I should write a case study on myself. Okay, I had to travel 100 kilometers. I share this with students when they come for orientation every term. So I'm asked to conduct orientation for the students, and I share this with them. And I even show them pictures of the library that I went to in my hometown, a very small place. You can't find many books, but you just have to make do with what you have. That is the problem that I went to. So when I hear people from Philippines complaining that students have problems, from Indonesia complaining students have problems, been there, done that. Okay, I went through the same thing when I was younger. Okay, but so present day students, they're actually pampered, spoiled for choices. There's so many online facilities that's available for them that was not available for me. So anyway, I had to travel by bus for your information. And present day students drive and they complain. Okay? Yeah, and there's no parking. But bottom line is, when we move online, it was actually better received by the students than when we had physical classes. But that 3 networking sessions that we do with the students, that actually helped a lot to make sure that they don't feel that they have been sidelined, shortchanged, because we don't want students to think they have been shortchanged. Look, students being students, they hard-earned money. They pay fees. We want to make sure that they get their money's worth.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Prakash. Second question, please.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Raji, and my question is for Dr. Amy. Dr. Amy, you mentioned before that there should be a collaboration, or there is collaboration between teachers. So when you initiate collaboration, do you consider variation in regards to their individual experiences with online learning? Thank you.
Yes, we do consider that. We call it as cell group, where we try to look at their different access to online, for example, for our MSUIT online learning environment. And then there's someone who is maybe the one who leads, but we don't call them as leader, because leader will going to, what we call this, maybe do all the activities. So he's the one in charge on making sure that everyone is on track. So what is very important there is the teacher. Actually, technology is not magic, it's the teacher who keep on monitoring what happened on the activity. Because if there is no mentoring or check on what happened on the online activity, then it may fail. Or some students may not have access on the experience of that design activity. Thank you.
The last question, please.
Thank you. I was some ask question for Mr. Pak Ananda from UNP. What is your suggestion to evaluate lecture What your suggestion to evaluate lecture preparedness for teaching online? What is your suggestion to evaluate lecture?
To evaluate the teachers. Yeah.
Yeah, we do have some sort of like evaluation for what is quality insurance. Quality insurance. So for the teacher every time, so student have the what is form that they fill it out how the teacher to do their lectures for this one. So every, for example, now we having the what is it, the final examination. After the final exam, they fill it out all the forms, and then we know what the quality of the teacher, and then we feedback to the teacher itself, and then we have something like numbers. For example, 3.8. What is this? It looks like a student rank also. For example, like you get a 3.5. You get a 2.0 or something like that. And then the quality insurance will send the point to the lecture itself that you improve all the qualities for this. And the other one point is for the VIGPM, for the also for, what is it? For teaching qualities for this, the lecture also for the quality insurance. So AMI, we call it AMI, so they will teach or apa namanya, Indonesia lah ya, kita diuji juga atau dikasih nilai untuk dosen-dosen, sehingga semua dosennya itu dapat nilainya 3, 3,5, 4, bisa 4, oh 2, oh nasakom di bawah nasib 1 koma itu sama dengan student. So from that one kita feedback to the dosen, so dosen juga harus memperbaiki, kita dapat warning, one per SP1, SP2, SP3, something like that. So to improve the capability of the lecturer. Then from that one, if the lecturer is not very low, so we do the train there. Especially ini bukan apa-apa, dosen-dosen or lecturer with the old 50 tahun ke atas. It's a little bit difficult to access internet or something, so we have to assist that with the what is this younger lecturer to help him to access all they need for this property. So jadi ada penilaian akses untuk dosen tersebut.
Thank you, Pak Ananda. So this is the end of the. Please.
1 minute. I just want to say 2 things. Number one, we always talk about pedagogy. And I mean, Open University, UT is also an open university. And many open universities seem to forget about andragogy and paragogy and heutagogy and all the other gogies out there that's related for ODL and adult learners. So I guess it's important for us to always remember that there are certain principles that adult learners adhere to, and it's important for us to be wary when we plan the learning experience of the students. The other thing that I wanted to say is, I just wanted to respond to a question raised by that gentleman over there behind on when you have students who are maybe physically impaired and whatnot. I just want to share one incident in WOU. We had a student who was visually impaired, okay, and he was in one of the smaller regional centers. So we asked for volunteers to be the reader for that student, to help read and whatnot. And the person who volunteered was his mother. Okay, his mother volunteered to be the reader. She will come for class, she'll sit in. So first term or first semester she went through the reading and whatnot, and the student did relatively well. So we asked the mother, why don't you sign up with us? Okay, so we signed up the mother, gave her 100% free waiver. She sat with the son, studied and completed, same time convocated in the same convocation. And I'm always very proud to share this story with people because adult learners go through a lot. And with the kind of will that they have, there's so many places that they can go if the right support is provided.
Thank you, Dr. Prakas. So this is the end of the second session. I give it to the master ceremony, please.
Thank you very much to our panelists and moderator for sharing your experiences and expertise with us. Please kindly stay at the front as I would like to invite the panelists from the first session to Bapak Diki, PhD, Dr. James, and Dr. Tiru. Universitas Terbuka has prepared a certificate for our panelists. Therefore, I would also like to invite Profesor Dewi Padmo Putri, MA, PhD, and Bapak Rahmat Budiman, as well as Professor Daryono to the front. This certificate will be given by Professor Dewi Padmo Putri, MA, PhD. Now I would like to invite for a photo session. Please gather at the front, ladies and gentlemen. And please show us your certificate. Okay. Thank you very much to our panelists and moderator. You are welcome to go back to your seat. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, as we have listened to the panelists, BUKA project aims to enhance partners' capacity in inclusive learning design to improve the pedagogical and technical accessibility of digital learning materials and to use learning analytics to provide more effective, tailored support to distance learner. Access to higher quality education is the primary objective for all three partner countries. I am now excited to announce that we have reached the exciting part of our program where we have the opportunity to network with all of our BUKA project team. But before that, I would like to invite and introduce you the deans of Universitas Terbuka. First of all, the deans from the Faculty of Education and Teacher Training, Professor Ucu Rahayu. Can you please stand up and wave your hands to the Other participant, thank you. And we have the Faculty of Economic and Business, Dr. Meirani Harsasi. From the Faculty of Science and Technology, Dr. Subekti Nurmawati. And we have from the Faculty of Law, Social and Political Sciences, maybe a representative from FISIP. Ibu. And we have the Head of Graduate School, Dr. Paken Pandiangan. So ladies and gentlemen, you're all welcome to build connection and discuss further with our deans and the Head of Graduate School of Universitas Terbuka. However, before we proceed to the sharing session and networking session, I would like to conclude today's meeting by expressing our heartfelt gratitude to all the distinguished speakers, panelists, and participants who have contributed their time, knowledge, and expertise today. On behalf of the organizing committee, I would like to extend our sincere appreciation to everyone who has played a part in making this event a success. Your commitment and dedication to the BUKA project are truly commendable. Ladies and gentlemen, we hope you leave here inspired, motivated, and ready to embrace the power of collaboration in education and research. We hope that BUKA project will continue to foster collaboration and innovation in education, transforming the landscape for the better. Thank you once again for being part of this extraordinary journey. Have a wonderful evening and have a great discussion. Thank you very much. And ladies and gentlemen, for your kind information, we will have the discussion for around 15 to 20 minutes, and we will proceed to have lunch at Wisma. Thank you.